Greetings from my backyard. I know it's been a while, and I also know that nobody's hanging on every word I say, so I'm just got some things been on my mind, actually a number of things, and so hopefully I'll get to catch up on some of the thoughts that I've been thinking about, provoke some thought, bring some encouragement. Anyhow, one of the things I've been considering is this whole woke movement and the cancellation culture of everything, especially the United States. And so there was a New York Times attempt at what they call a Project 1619, which tried to overthrow the correct view or history of the United States. And so I got a quote here by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I think I said it right. But he said these words: "To destroy people, you must first sever their roots." And so, for centuries, the Bible has exerted unrivaled influence on American culture, politics, and social life. Now historians are discovering that the Bible, perhaps even more than the Constitution of the United States, is our founding document. Go figure. And so they've been digging this up and finding this out. And so it's actually the people of God that established the model of society, or a beacon of the world. And so what happened is you had the Puritans who were, and reformers in Europe, trying to change the church, the established church, the political church run by the king or by the Pope. And so in light of that, they became persecuted, and so they came over here as pilgrims. And so I'm going to get into the Puritans later, maybe on another video, but anyways, they came here. And so Americans as a whole, when you look throughout history, basically had this undercurrent of Christianity. They might not have been biblical Christians, but they at least had some respect for us being a Christian nation. As a matter of fact, they thought of us as a Christian nation up until at least the 60s. And that's when there became a public attack on displays of faith. You look back at history, and I'm going to read some of my notes. The nation was shocked, therefore, when two Supreme Court rulings, Engel versus Vitale in 1962 and 63, and Abington School versus Schempp in 1963 and 64, the highest court in the nation banned school-sponsored prayer and Bible reading in public schools of America. This ruling was based on a contorted effort and a novel interpretation of the First Amendment, which reads, this is what the Constitution says: it says, "Congress shall make no law concerning the establishment of religion or hindering the free exercise thereof." It goes on to say other things as well. And so this attempt in the early 60s was to redefine America by rewriting its history and rewriting the Constitution and misquoting the truths of our founding documents, and undermining the historical evidence that many of our founding fathers and presidents believe, like Jefferson, Washington, Madison, and Lincoln. And so they're trying to paint them as oppressive slave owners when this is not the case. And so to remove or revise a people's history is to make people vulnerable to being easily molded into something different. And if any time in our history you're seeing this happen, it's right now. People have been brainwashed for decades with an agenda that is fed through the media, through the news cycles, through Hollywood, and into our education system at the highest level down to the entry level, kindergarten. They are feeding and putting their propaganda in there to basically dissolve the history, the biblical history of America. Karl Marx made this comment, and he referred to history when he wrote these words. He says, "People without a heritage are easily persuaded." Now, if you know anything about communist Russia, Lenin, what he got rid of was the Christians, the Bible, outlawed those things, and basically with no biblical foundation or support, they were basically left as sheep. They were vulnerable. And so the most recent attempt to redefine America through this Project 1619, which they claim is the first year that slaves arrived in America. And so in that article it stated, this Times Project is to reframe American history by claiming that 1619, not 1776, represents the true founding. They claim, therefore, that America is racist and corrupt at its very core and in need of fundamental change. In other words, you're a systematic racist. I was talking to a couple of my friends, and we were joking because both of them are white, and they were saying, yeah, we're nothing but white, systemically conservative racists. And I'm laughing with them because, you have to laugh because it's just sad that our culture has come to this point where just because of the color of your skin, you're now judged. And it used to be, in the civil rights movement where, that was the issue taken on. And Martin Luther King changed our culture. I don't think, and I don't believe in my heart that this is a systemically racist nation. I have a white pastor of European descent who's married to a Mexican-American woman. Many of my friends are white. Many of my friends are black. Many of my friends are Mexican-American. My wife is white with green eyes. And so, and you see multicultural, multiracial marriages all throughout this land. So, yeah, maybe there will be some hot spots of racism, but I think overall it's an agenda to try and get people to hate this country rather than embrace the truth, the biblical truth that it was founded on. And so when a nation goes down or a society perishes, one condition will always be found. They forgot where they came from. They lost sight of what had brought them along this far. And so let me say this very clearly. America is backslidden. America has lost its way. We were once a beacon of hope, a beacon of light. We were once a very powerful missionary thrusting nation. That's why there was blessing, because Jesus Christ was at the center of many hearts and homes and families across this land. There was a certain integrity and loyalty that we had based on conviction of truth, moral absolutes based in the Bible. But I would say that's a far cry from today. And so what happened is not 1776 where the Declaration of Independence came to be, but it was prior to that where this nation actually changed course. Between the first Pilgrims and 1776, there were some things that are taking place, and one of the monumental years in our history, which they don't talk about, is 1726. And so what happened in 1726 is that there was a great spiritual tsunami that took place in not only in the colonies then, but even in Europe, affecting England and much of Europe. It was called the Great Awakening. And what happened, it began to renew the vision of the first Pilgrims, where morality and biblical truth and the conviction of living truth and living the Word of God became of the utmost priority. That's why I call it an awakening. And so it also gave birth to a anti-slavery movement, abolitionists and what have you. And then this wave of revival, this great awakening, had much impact on the foundations of the document writers and signers of our great United States. 1726 was the seedbed of what took place to begin to set the course for an independent nation under God. And so those men that were active in that particular time was men by George Whitefield, which is in the Northeast, and the Wesley brothers down in the South and into Pennsylvania, all across the East Coast. These men had stirred the hearts of the people, raising up other workers and pastors, which began to preach in their pulpits in their local communities and begin to bring about a revival. God's hand was on this nation. This is the undercurrent of what was taking place in 1726 until 1776. 50 years, things had been developing to a point. And then, of course, the Revolutionary took place and America was born, an independent nation. And so the motto of the Revolutionary War was no king but King Jesus. The Puritans had left the tyranny of Europe because they wanted to serve Jesus Christ in a pure fashion. And so that's all I have for right now. I'm just kind of fascinated with this thought. I'm probably going to do a couple of parts on this, just to hopefully encourage you, maybe bring some arguments to the other side, to the true side of America. Anyways, like I said, America's backslidden. We need revival. We need a great awakening again. So next time, keep on keeping on. That's all I got for you.